Okay, ready, guys?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Should we all hold hands? Should we all hold hands? Yeah. Okay. We're back again. Uh-oh.
Back again.
Do you know that one?
Nope.
Great. So, yeah, we're back. We're checking in. We have our special guest back on the show, man of the hour, man of the year.
Hope so.
We hope so too.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Who everyone wants to hear from.
Yeah. We did poll our audience, our little Instagram audience, and ask what content they wanted more of, and the unanimous answer was more Doug.
Doug.
Were they able to hear and see?
I did not ask who was blind and deaf, but many of them asked for more Doug. One person asked for Will.
Yeah, one.
Was it Will?
No, but that would have been funny.
Yeah.
No, but anyway, yeah, so we're just checking back in. It's been a little while since our last session. How are you feeling, and what's the latest?
What's the haps?
I feel great, which is part of the weird part of this whole disease. I have zero symptoms. I feel fine. I just know I have brain cancer, so it's just kind of confusingly odd.
I'm still not convinced.
Yeah, no, I mean secretly I'm not either, but we know better. And I'm feeling great, so that's a plus. We'll take it.
Yeah. I forget if we discussed this or not, but you recently started palliative care, which is
Palliative.
I think it's palliative. He's right.
Okay, palliative care. Can you describe what that is?
Do you want to, or do you want me to?
I'd like you to, because I don't know.
Basically, palliative care is sort of, my interpretation of it is more of like a holistic health journey. So it's, instead of just treating someone with chemo and radiation and the straight up medicine, it's also incorporating other things that are really important to people's bodies and brains and their like body-mind connection. So for instance, nutrition is sometimes one, PT, physical therapy,
Counseling.
Yes, and then counseling. So whether that's like therapy or psychiatry too.
Oh, absolutely.
Both. Acupuncture. Am I missing any?
Acupuncture.
Oh my
god.
What's that tea and lemonade drink you like?
Stop.
Say it.
Arnold Palmer.
What happened to you?
You practiced.
Arnold.
Say it again.
Arnold.
Palmer.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's sort of a bunch of different facets of health. I think they all fall under health, whether it's mental health, physical health, or medical health, whatever you want to call it. But it's sort of a bigger team that at the end, I hope their goal is to give you a more comfortable and better healing process, or just overall life. So you started that how long ago?
I think a week. Maybe 10 days.
A little longer.
It was 10 days?
I feel like 2 weeks.
All
I don't know.
Let's go with 2 weeks.
But how has it been going so far? If you don't
Seems fine. I've talked to the weed doctor.
Oh, I forgot about the weed. Yeah.
Yes, the queen of ganja, as she referred to herself, and
that's an awesome title.
Gotta have a sense of humor, and she does. So
why does she not go with goddess of ganja?
I'll bring it up.
You should.
Let me know. Better branding.
I'll make a note of that. I agree with you. So yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of things. We're trying and doing all kinds of pretty standard things, but palliative care has been just sort of an add-on to what we're doing with, as you said, with the chemicals and stuff like that. And it's been good. They're giving me some good things to help me sleep in terms of gummies. They're giving me things that are theoretically good for brain cancer in terms of penetrating the brain-blood barrier. That may be by Arnold Palmer.
No, you did well.
Brain blood.
That's a tongue twister.
So everyone's been great and helpful, and that's sort of, we're very early stage of that. So
great. Well, I think it's an important thing of treatment, and I'm glad that you started it. Seems awesome.
I am too.
Yeah, I feel like when you have something like brain cancer or just a terminal illness or any illness that takes over so much of your life, so much of your day, it's like you don't worry about other stuff that you need to still be keeping track of and still be staying on to then in like from the side treat the brain cancer, I guess.
Oh, without a doubt. It's funny you mentioned it that way because I had lunch with a friend of mine the other week and he said, well, what's your day like now that I'm retired from natural or normal working world? He said, well, so what's every day like? And I was sort of stunned because I hadn't thought about it because I kind of get up, deal with whatever appointments I have, figure out how I'm feeling. Do I need to take a nap? Do I need to take more drugs? Do I have to, whatever? I'm forgetting to have a real life. So that's been an important sort of, it sounds idiotic to say a discovery, but it's been a discovery. And so I'm planning my day more now like I am working and doing other things so that this isn't dominant like it will be eventually, but it just exists.
Yeah.
That's a great mindset to have.
Totally. Especially while you're feeling good and like obviously you're tired and there's effects of the drugs that you're taking, but while you're feeling okay, it's like spend time feeling okay and doing things that you can do while you're feeling good.
Totally. And everyone counsels you, all the doctors, all the psychiatric folks, the MSWs, live your life. And I think that that's obviously easier said than done.
So much easier said than done.
You like go for a walk, you walk back in the house, you shut the door, you're like, oh shit, I have brain cancer. It's not like it goes away. But I think that being present and being grateful for being present is not a terrible message. Mm-hmm. And they've said it to us being you and me and your mom 100 times. And, where I used to roll my eyes or just go, yeah, oh, definitely. And think that it was silly. You come around and you start to realize it's super important to live your life and super important to not anticipate death every day. I may have a long time, I may have a short time. I don't know. We'll see. But I think having a good attitude, which is not my strong suit in regular life, is an important part of doing this.
Totally. You said at one point this summer when we were like pretty early into your diagnosis, you said that you would rather have 5 years and know that you had 5 years than have 10 and not know the whole time. Do you still, does that remain true or has your thought process on that changed? I get it
it's
also.
Good question. Yeah, no. And that's definitely always been, that anticipatory equation has always been something that dogged me a little. I think that I've changed a little bit on that. Mm-hmm. What was the question?
Shit. No, you remember the question.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I think, I like it, at the beginning, you want to know everything and you can't know everything because they don't know everything in terms of longevity or can you put a date on this? And I think I've said this to you guys 50 times about Warren Buffett's former partner, Charlie Munger, who died at 93 or 94 last year. Said, I just want to know when I'm going to die and where, so I don't go there, which is just brilliant.
It's really good.
It's so funny.
You have said that so many times and I love it, but that's like when you were first when Emma first asked that question and you were talking about your answer, that's immediately what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
So
just so I don't go.
I couldn't have articulated it as well as you though, so I'm glad you brought it up again.
Well, you could have, but you didn't. I think I'm good having just quality right now and not worrying too much about when the end is because nobody knows.
Yeah.
Pretty much like it was before brain cancer, although with brain cancer, you now have a pretty good clue that it's coming, more than it's not.
What's more on your mind?
Yeah.
Do you find yourself more or less scared of like random death? I guess like every time I go on the subway and maybe I'm outing myself as neurotic and anxious, which maybe I already have, but I think like you think we're good? Okay. Every single time that I go on the subway, I'm like I don't not go on the subway. I still go, but I'm like, oh, I'm totally going to get shot or stabbed. Like 100%. Like every time I turn a corner. Yeah. Every time I turn a corner or open a door, I'm like, someone's totally there and going to shoot me, which is crazy. And I don't want to think like that. And I don't actually think it's going to happen, but it's like, it
crosses your mind. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have weird, are you worried about car crashes, plane crashes, stuff or Is
No.
it just the same?
It's the same. I mean,
Yeah.
at some point you learn, being afraid of flying, which I went through at one period in my life where I was so uncomfortable with the concept that I'm in a tin can flying through the air at 30,000 feet in the air, and
When you say it like that.
I have no control. And after a while, you realize, well, I don't know how to fly, and the pilot does, so that's a good thing that he or she is doing it, and you stop worrying about the things that are out of your control to the best of your ability. You can't control your emotions. You can't just pull a rein and like a horse and stop it or turn it. It takes time, and it takes maturity. Not that I'm claiming that, but I'm saying it takes maturity and it takes experience and work. It takes
Yeah.
work sometimes. So, that was such a long-winded answer. In answer to your question, no, I don't. Nothing's changed. I still look both ways when I cross the street.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, but I'm not worried about it.
I know, but you were like not gonna go to the skin dog, to the, what are they called? To the dermatologist. You were not gonna go to the dermatologist because you were like, what's the point? I was like, well, the point would be to not also have melanoma.
Yeah, I mean, I still think I was right, but I went.
Waste of time?
I didn't have melanoma. So yeah, it was
Fabulous.
That's
fabulous.
Comforting.
All good. Yeah.
Great.
Well, I guess it's good to know that doesn't scare you.
Melanoma or going to the dermatologist?
I meant like the other things.
Oh no, I can't. That doesn't scare me. I mean, it obviously it doesn't make me excited.
Well,
and it's depressing, and all those things that come with a death sentence. But I'm not living in fear of it. I still, as I think I said last time we talked, I'm more concerned for you guys and for your mother and for the survivors because I won't be here. I don't have to deal with it when I'm not here. You guys do. The absence or what have you. Everyone will move on. Everyone will get over it. It'll be there.
I don't think we'll get over it.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, you'll be able to function in your life over time. You have to.
No, you're right. I mean,
it's heartbreaking for me to think of the concept. Believe me.
Yeah.
I love being with you guys. I love being with your mother, and have been for quite a long time. Every day is still great and interesting and fun. We have our moments of disagreement. That's what we call the morning. But sorry,
that's also normal though. Like
I was just trying to go for the joke.
No, but I mean that is something that I remember. We were all here for Thanksgiving or something a while ago, and I had a call with my therapist. She was asking how stuff's going, and I was like, "Yeah, my parents are like, they just seem on edge. They're sort of fighting a little bit, and like, why would they be fighting? Like, we're dealing with this diagnosis. We're dealing with brain cancer. Like, why are they fighting about like?" Why isn't there milk in the fridge? Like little things. I was like, it seems so trivial. And she told me, well, yeah, that gives you normalcy. Like that. She was like, did that go on before? I'm like, yeah, of course. Everyone bickers now and then.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, well, good. Then that's normal. Like, let them have normalcy. Like, all right, great. Bring it on.
Like the little bickering is almost an escape from the impending doom in your head all the time.
It's normalcy.
It makes it feel like this is, like last week when we argued about that there's no more milk and who did that.
Was that a real thing? I sort of made that up.
I don't know. I'm just playing along.
I was like, you guys do argue about milk.
No, we don't argue about too much. But I mean, we can disagree on things, and it's not like, oh, everyone should be nice now. He's dying. It's like, no, everyone should be themselves. That makes it much more comfortable. It's like when everyone's trying to do something for me, or, I'm like, oh, I'll take the garbage out. And it's like, no, you relax. It's like, all I do is relax. I'd like to take the garbage out. I'd like to do other things and be useful as well as have something to do, not just sit around being relaxed because it ain't relaxing,
Super
and
fair.
I can imagine it probably feels normal and nice to do the dishes sometimes or take out the trash, like the shit that you normally do, walk the dog. Like you don't want the special treatment.
Well, for those specific things, I probably do.
Okay, that's
the dog.
You don't want to pick up the dog poop.
Is the dog going number one or number two?
I don't have a problem with picking up dog poop in a bag. So that's you.
You do.
It's gross. It's disgusting.
Yet you want a dog.
I want a dog that doesn't poop. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I feel like
check Amazon.
Well, I was sort of thinking when you were just talking about you don't like sort of that special treatment sometimes.
Yeah.
If there is anything that family or maybe friends, if that's easier to answer because we're sitting right next to you, can do for you in a supportive way that has deemed itself to be helpful, or maybe like things that necessarily aren't. For instance, like someone walking on eggshells around you, is that helpful or not? Or like,
how do you want people to
Yes.
approach you?
Good question.
that's exactly what I was trying to
Because I
ask.
think I think people ask that a lot. Like
They
they
do.
ask us, they ask us like how they should be talking to you. They ask us how they can be helpful to us. Like, do we want them to ask us how we're doing?
Or pretend it doesn't exist.
Yeah. And I don't even know the answer for myself, but what do you...
For me, it's just everyone is doing, my friends are doing things exactly the way I would do things, which is you check in, you can send a text, you can send an email, you can make a call and just say, hey, just thinking about you, how are you doing? I don't have a problem with that.
It feels good.
Yeah, it feels great. And it's nice that, I mean, it's not like, oh, a surprise, your friends care. It's been an affirmation, but it's not news. And I think people have been great. And people have been curious too. Is this an intrusion? Are you sick of answering questions about how you're feeling? It's like, no, not yet.
Yeah.
I feel good. So that's part of it.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not, struggling with anything other than the concept.
Yeah.
So it's nice people check in, or I'll reach out to people, say, how are you doing? They'll say, well, how are you doing? It's like, I asked you first. No, I mean, it's not a game. I think people have been very responsive, thoughtful, and kept enough distance, but people, will also come by, and they're welcome. It's great.
Yeah. And it's also, I think, because they care and not because they feel like they have to.
No.
Haley and I both went through a whole bit, and sometimes I'm still going through it, where people would do nice things for us. And I would be like, oh, you're only doing that because my dad has brain cancer. Like one of my like closest friends asked me to be a bridesmaid in her wedding. And my crazy head is like, oh, she definitely asked me because she feels bad for me because you have brain cancer. It's like, no, like we're really close and she wants me to be in her wedding party. But I'm just I'm thinking about this all the time. So I'm associating all of my feelings with it, other people's actions with it. I was actually explaining this to one of my other close friends at work, who's been through some hardship herself. And she bought me lunch after our conversation. And I was like, oh, how much do I owe you? And she's like, don't worry about it. I was like, no, please. Like, it's fine, whatever. I'll get the next one. And she's like, oh, by the way, I'm not just being nice. Like, I bought you lunch because your dad's dying. Like, that's what I need sometimes. Like, that's sort of,
it's so
sometimes
good.
that's what we need.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank you.
You want to be a human being and you want to still laugh and you laugh, you cry, you do all kinds of things. But it's like being normal is kind of what you're looking for. But it doesn't take too much instruction for too many people to act a certain way. It's just, if someone's bugging me, I'll say, hey, I've had enough of this conversation. That's fine.
Really?
I would do that in normal life.
I was going to say you definitely do that in normal life.
I guess that, going back to normalcy.
Yeah, but that's why not too many people are checking. But I mean, it's fine. No, I mean, people have been great and people have been caring. As your mother said, we don't need any more ladles with soup. But people have been great and caring and genuine, and that's all you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the normalcy, but also like you can still ask someone how they're doing and have a normal conversation, whatever that means.
Yeah.
But still that like act of making an effort, checking in, whether that's your friends coming in for a game or for dinner or just giving you a call or shooting you a text or an email, like you were saying, that letting someone know that you're thinking about them, I think is really important in that like act of reaching out.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've actually said this before because my friends sometimes if something is going on and someone's struggling with something, they're like, oh, I don't want to intrude. I don't want to reach out and like overstep. And I said to them, which is ironic because it was before all of this was happening. And I was like, you know what? Like, I don't think I would ever receive a text if I was going through something and be like, oh my God, like this person texted me to get like credit. Like they don't care. Like I've always been like, oh, that's really nice. Like I'm touched by that. Like maybe I don't respond. Maybe I do, whatever. But it's like, I think no one's ever received a like text message or like a reach out that's just being like, hey, thinking of you, and been like, this is charged. Like, you know what I mean? I just feel like that always is going to feel good.
No, I've had a few people say, I don't, you must be sick of people asking you how you're feeling. I might have said this even earlier, but yeah, it's okay. It's not. If it is, then you just sort of move on. It's not a big deal for someone to reach out and say they care or that they're interested or they're checking on you. It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
If it's too much because it's a text or an email or a phone call or whatever, you kind of tell them. You say, hey, kind of tied up right now. I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If I'm not in a mood to respond, I won't respond. And it's like the grace period, I think, is extended from a day to a couple of days. And like I'll have texts go unread for a week and then I'll feel bad about it. But I'm like, you know what? They were checking in to see how I'm doing. And I'll let them know when I feel like letting them know. I don't know.
Right. Well, not letting them know probably tells a story.
Yeah, they're like, so she's not.
But people also, I would hope, aren't reaching out to get a response. Like it's just you're doing it to just like let someone know. So it's
Yeah,
like
I'm
it's
thinking
for
of
you.
you.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
A lot of people do also say they're like no response needed,
Yeah,
which I do
I
appreciate. That actually entices me to respond more sometimes.
Same. I usually respond like 30 seconds later.
Yeah, I'm like, don't test me with a good time. Like no response needed.
So I feel like that answers a lot for friends. But I know maybe it's not the same. Maybe it's different. But I'm thinking like for us, I know sometimes I call you and I'm just like, how are you feeling? What's going on? Like, tell me this. And at some point I just want to be like, hey, like I feel, okay, wait, I'm phrasing this wrong.
No, you're not. I totally understand what you're saying because I've received the calls.
But I'm just saying I feel like for the family and for like mom and people that you see more often and have a different relationship with you, it's like sometimes I don't want to just check in. I just want to like talk.
Yeah.
But or just feel normal with you. But it's sort of interesting because obviously every day I'm like, oh, I wonder how you're feeling. I wonder how you slept. But sometimes it's like, do you really want the fifth person in our family to ask how you slept? Like, not fucking good. Okay, move on.
Better with the weed.
Yeah, that's true. This was, I'm thinking more of like pre this.
Yeah, no, I think that, there's an unspoken code that we all have as part of the family that there's no issues.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
That's true. Yeah, we kind of speak our minds to each other.
Yeah, I mean, if you called me and said, how you feeling? I say, oh my God, it's the fifth fucking call I've gotten that, asked me about it. I'm fine. If I wasn't, you'd hear from your mom.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
But we're not doing that stuff. I mean, it's everything's appreciated when people are reaching out, family included.
Okay.
Another thing that we wanted to ask you is just, I know, and I think that we had talked about this earlier, but just you have so many projects or side gigs or stuff that you were doing while you were working that I think you're still tinkering away at now. But is there any, and again, I know we don't have a timeline, we don't have a deadline, which is good, but is there stuff that you're like, yes, I absolutely know that I really want to do this before I can't, or like I really want to finish this before I can't, or is some of it just stuff that you're gonna leave and hope that we pick up, which we're happy to do, by the way.
Well, or the other part of it is, or is it stuff that's just going to get chucked because it should?
Chucked.
There's a bunch of things I'd like to finish in terms of writing projects and creative projects, but if I don't finish them, I don't finish them.
Yeah, we pick them up.
If you're bored, you can, but otherwise, you got your own, and it's fine. I mean, I have no mark on the world that I'm trying to leave, other than the joy of you guys, and that's that. Honestly,
I feel pressure to do great stuff now.
you should.
I already have. The pressure was on since like middle school.
Absolutely. We were really tough on you in middle school.
Oh my God, no, not at all. But no, I feel like you definitely have you are so creative and you have so many ideas, most of which we can't say because they're in the works and we can't have people be stealing them.
Yeah, we can't have everyone sign an NDA.
But like in so many different areas of media and creativity and another word I'm not thinking of. But I think it's exciting and something cool that maybe you can work on or just think about too.
Yeah,
in your free time.
I'm trying to, and I'm trying to actually be more structured about that. It's like I'm going to get up and work because in my regular working life, I did more between 7 o'clock and noon than I would ever do in a full day.
Isn't that how it always goes?
It's like easier to do work that way.
Yeah, because no one's around, no one's going to bug you, and your mind is relatively clear before the whatever problem of the day is laid on you.
Yeah,
or problems.
My only problem with that is sometimes if I get like too much done in that morning section, I'll hit capacity, and then it's like 2 p.m. and I'm like, I can't do this anymore.
Oh yeah, and then you got to go home.
Yeah,
right.
Well, I also think weirdly enough, on the busiest days are like when you're the most productive.
Yep.
Like
Yeah,
if I have a
totally.
lazy day, I'm more tired. I'm not doing any work. But if I have a day where I have like 3 hours of like work time, it's like, oh, I have to fit everything into that. So I'm automatically more productive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Which I don't think is actually weird now that I'm saying it makes a lot of sense. But it's just interesting.
No, and if you're juggling a few projects, it sometimes will feed each other, or this one's working, this one's not, or what have you, and you can jump to the next one or to the next thing. But if you're shut down, you can do nothing. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I will not get everything I want to done because there's more things that are thought of the next day. It's
Yeah.
But is there something that you guys would carry forward? I don't know if you want to write about the New York Jets like I have been. It's nobody should put themselves through that torture. So
Yeah, that.
yeah, no, that one can die like the season has for the Jets.
Ugh.
Anyway,
What about like places you really want to go? And I know we've talked about like there's no bucket list, but is there anything that you're like
That'd
if
be
you
fun.
yeah, if like what is like the top place on your list that you would want to go on a trip to?
there's a lot of places, but again, yeah, as we said, no bucket list. It's not like I have to go to Cambodia because I've never been there. If I get there, that's great. If I don't, it'll still go on without me.
Okay, note to self: cancel trip to Cambodia.
Yeah.
No, but you and I were going to go to Poland. We still will. I think we all want to go to Italy as a family if we can do that. Your mom and I will cook up a few different places that we want to go, and we have plans to do that. But it's not like get the travel in. It's more like, oh, let's take a trip here. Let's take a trip there.
Totally. But I mean, on the other hand, I'm also like, it's nice to look forward to stuff too.
Yeah.
Like if we know that, and again, it's so hard to predict what'll happen if you'll be in a trial in a few months, if you'll be even better, and like who knows?
Or like
Just
even
to be
up
clear,
for traveling.
Yeah, you mean a medical trial, not a legal one. Just to be
Yes,
clear.
yes. Yeah. If you are in court in 3, no,
Well, that also would probably change things too.
that would change things
That
too.
would change
But
You'd probably be able to go to Greece.
Oh, that's where you want to go, right?
Yes, that's where I want to go.
yeah, Japan. Like we got a long
Oh,
list.
Japan too.
But I'm like, it's nice to have things like for me, I guess when I'm feeling like most down, I schedule my next trip up to see you guys. Like I like to know
helpful.
specifically around you guys too. Like I'd like to know when is the next time I'm going to see you. So then if I'm at home, I'm like, you can get through today. Like you have 2 more weeks until you can see them again. And that's great. Or just, and it's not always, I mean, it's 9 times out of 10 based around seeing you and mom, but it's just like other stuff sometimes too.
Mhm.
Like, okay, I have this bachelorette in a couple of weeks. Like that'll be really fun. Like
it is nice to look forward.
You're
to
not
that.
invited to any bachelorettes. I don't think
it won't be any fun for me. Yeah, I mean so I look forward to when you guys come in. It's really a simple life, right? I mean, we love our family. We love having you guys around. We like seeing you wherever you are. You've got obviously your sister in California. We'll go out there. It's sort of those are the things that motivate us much more than I need to see,
the Leaning Tower of Pisa
or the Hanoi Hilton or whatever it is anywhere. And we've seen a lot of places and we'll continue to, but
yeah.
My biggest motivation is being with, my crew, this crew.
I think one of the last questions that we have of this session is, and I think I know your stance on this, but I'm just curious to hear it again as things have changed and shifted. We're constantly thinking about end of life future without you, not because we want to, but just because it's ever present and looming. Yeah, it's reality. That's just what we're going to be thinking about. Do you believe in an afterlife, or what are your thoughts sort of on what happens then?
Great question. I do not, but I have a lot of friends who are quite religious, who have been praying for me, who check in on that level, and I couldn't be more grateful.
It feels nice.
It's incredible that people pray for you, that people are lighting candles in synagogues and churches for you. I think that's wonderful. Do I personally believe in an afterlife? I do not.
Do you believe in the like do you ever get it's not like afterlife as in like heaven and hell.
Mm-hmm.
In that sense, I understand. I don't know if that was like allowed to be said.
You can say hell. You said like
hell,
shit and cock.
Ass.
No, but that's different because like this is, I don't know. It seems more
You can
charged.
say it.
But
you're afraid you're going to get hit by lightning?
A little bit.
Yeah, okay.
But no, it's not. I feel like it's sometimes different to just be the afterlife, thinking of like heaven and hell and it in that like binary. But I think I don't necessarily know if I buy into that much personally, but I think I believe in the afterlife in the sense of like still feeling a connection with someone when they're not there. Cause like I feel like sometimes I like feel like grandma's presence or Pop-Up's presence or Poppy's presence and like people, our grandparents that have passed, I sometimes feel like I connect with them or like do something that they love and I see like maybe reincarnation type of thing. And maybe that's a little too far, but I think I sort of buy into that aspect and I'm curious if like there's a moment where you're like, oh, I kind of feel close to Pop right now, for instance.
Oh, that happens frequently, but I think that it's emotion driving that, not some sense of a spirituality, but it's not the right word. Spirituality, but do I believe that there's life after death? The answer is no.
Okay, that's fair.
I think that I've spent the majority of my life of that same mindset, but there's little things that have come up recently that I've heard about, like not specifically to me, but that makes me think that there's something, like some bridge between, and I don't think you're gonna like be somewhere in a white robe, like with angels and shit. I don't really, and I love that
people. Could be the Ritz, yeah.
Yeah, no, it kind of sounds like the Ritz. No, and I don't, I'm happy for people who do think that. For me, I'm sort of like, I hear stories about really, really young children telling their parents that they've talked to like the grandparents or, oh, I heard like so-and-so told me to say hi to blah, 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 who is like passed on. I really, for some reason, I feel like there is some, not naiveness.
No, but
naivety. What's that word?
No, but I know it's like when you're young and you have
scene with the crush.
No. But when you're young and you like
you have no guard up.
Yes,
you're incredibly malleable. Yeah. You're not a cynic. You're
naive.
Yeah, exactly. When you're naive, your guard's not up. And I think that, and I sound a little nuts saying this, but I really, really do believe that there is like a bridge between sort of the dead that can get through to people who aren't like conditioned and hardened to not be able to feel that or hear that. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why it comes up with like young children or mediums. They've somehow figured it out. And again, like this is new for me. I didn't always believe that. I think I also hold on to hope for that because I'm like, I like that there's some door open somewhere.
Yeah. I think there's a sense of like connectivity, whether it's emotional more so in the living person than necessarily with the afterlife. But I think regardless, I think both people feel it. So
yeah, like, that's what I hope.
And you hear the stories of like people like watching them and like in a sunset or in a dragonfly. And I think I personally believe in that, like the universe aspect of it.
Me too. Mm-hmm. I mean, on my wedding day, it was the best weather that area had, I think, ever had. It was the nicest weather that I had ever seen in that space. And it was a place that was so special for us, for Grandma and Pop-Up. Their ashes are there. Like I really, and this was the only time I'd ever felt something like that, but I really did feel some sort of presence. Like
absolutely,
they had pulled some strings to make that happen. Like, that's
there's some spirituality that I think connects with people and emotion that connects with people.
Yeah.
Will I take my phone with me? Yeah, but I'm not expecting to get texts. I mean, I don't think there's service where
there's no Wi-Fi.
Not where I'm going, but I don't. I do think that the power of emotion can make those connections, and there is a spirituality to all of us that I believe in, but I don't in a quote unquote afterlife or coming back as something or reappearing as a butterfly or what have you. It doesn't necessarily connect with me.
That is
But I
think
really
I'd
totally
be a
respect.
butterfly.
Totally respect. What's that?
Well, you wouldn't be a butterfly.
What do you think you would be if you were going to come back as something or
Greyhound.
someone?
A greyhound?
What? Why?
Wow. What's
A bull. Obviously.
Oh, obviously. You're so majestic.
You love bulls.
Yes. Wow. Seems like a good time to cut.
Yeah, that would be great. No, this was great. Thank you again. And
Thank you.
Thank you for being open to, love you.
Thank you.
Thanks just for being open to sharing your experience. I know it's not easy, especially for you, but I think it's been great for us. So I just want to now publicly, I guess, extra thank you for that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I think I respect the way you guys all conceived of this project with Lucy as well. You know, and seeing you guys together working on things, you and Haley, you and Lucy and Haley, whatever. I admire it. I think it's fascinating. You know, this is as far from any reality I would want to be in terms of being broadcast on YouTube or anywhere. But I'm doing this because of you guys. It's easy. That makes it easy.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
We won't tell
Thank
anyone
you.
where you live because I know you're really scared about that.
I'm not scared about it. I just don't want it.
Fan mail?
I was just going to say, you're going to get fan mail.
Hurry up, folks. Anyway, thanks.
Love you.
Love you. Thank you.
Love you.
Love you.